lot of these big news headlines are things that are not happening in our country, in our neighborhoods, right? Like where we have our own issues, and it seems to have taken kind of a back seat, or it's been glazed over by this very thin patina of, hey, the economy is doing good, and look what we're doing here, and it's like, yeah, but like what are you doing over there?
Yeah, we wanted to do this podcast, and I really wanted to know what's been going on for the last 5 weeks because I went on my news hiatus and then haven't really looked at news and been kind of aware of what's going on because like I had
Hard to avoid.
I had another friend that texted me, and the only the only thing that he texted me, because he was just kind of trolling me. He's like, "Do you think it's okay for Trump to attack Iran for Israel?" I was like, "You're just messing with me." He just wants to. And he said, "Yeah, I'm just kind of being the little brother, kind of just rage baiting you, see how you say you're gonna handle that, not knowing the news and stuff." So, but yeah, we decided we wanted to record this podcast and have you tell me what's been going on the last 5 weeks, like the big headlines. And I'm curious. Seems like it's an interesting 5 weeks to not be on the news.
For sure, man. Yeah, I think that's a big one that's going on right now. And again, it's like, I think it's hard to avoid because it's pretty much everywhere. It's kind of sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Um,
But what exactly? But here's the thing: like, we attacked Iran last year. We just did some bunker busters. We just sent some bombs in and smushed some nuclear facilities. But but what actually happened here? What is happening with Iran?
As someone who is, who sometimes skims the news a little bit, myself, I think that right, we're apparently at war with Iran, a foreign country.
Are we actually
So
at war? Like, did we declare war? Like, I haven't looked at anything.
I mean, that's kind of that's what the news is, at least from the the things that come across my my Instagram feed sometimes, or even like how you have the windows, and then there's like a little option on the left hand side where you click it, and all of a sudden, like, it turns into like the top couple news. And
yeah.
and I don't know, I think that if you're doing some sort of military operations in a foreign country, and I don't know, if you're dropping bombs, sounds like, I don't know, it kind of sounds like war to me. And that nation that you're dropping bombs on are also firing off missiles towards like our stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels very um very warlike, rumors of war, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's just a lot of uh just global conflicts that are going on right now that and from what I understand, it's all starting because we're avoiding hard conversations with each other, right? It all comes down to that, really, right? Making the choices to have hard conversation, make responsible decisions. And when nobody wants to come to the table, and like leaders should, um this is what's going to happen. You know uh it feels like one side is really flexing um on, just flexing our muscle. And yeah, I mean, it just, yes, yeah, dude, that's kind of my take on what's going on, at least what the algorithms are sending my way. Um, and then, but like it's still there. The whole notion of um, just kind of the sides, the right or left side bickering back and forth about, is this the right thing or is it the wrong thing? I think, um,
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of it again. We talked about this in a couple podcasts before. We're so hyper focused on um like sides hating each other that we're not focused on like who's pulling all these like the whole ant story, right? Like who's shaking the ant farm. We're
Yeah.
not focused on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. My yeah, again, I haven't looked at the news. I knew that there was bombing in Iran. Did we take out the supreme leader, or was that
I Yes, yes,
okay?
I think so.
Okay, and then because I knew that we were ramping
Brushed up
up
on this stuff.
in February. That's all good. Like, um, yeah, it looks like we were. I mean, we were amassing force in the area in kind of in January, right? They had Iran had the big blackouts. And so obviously we said we're done. We kind of went in and did something. But if the right and left aren't
Well,
agreeing, so it doesn't sound like it was a declaration of war, right? I mean, because the Constitution says the only Congress can actually declare war. Unfortunately, like the last time that happened was World War II. Like Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, like everything that we've done has not been a declaration of war. It's been like,
and where are the people and where is Congress? They sure are very quiet about what's going on.
are they? Yeah.
I mean, they're just basically like, yeah, go for it. Like, should we be hearing that? Like, right? Should we be hearing Congress going, hey, whoa, 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 like what's that's what the balance of power is, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody's supposed to keep everybody in check.
Yeah.
Um,
Because that was a
you know,
big thing when we took it Maduro. Like I was
hmm
aware of that. That was January, I think. So we took Maduro, and I heard a lot of stink about that. And then everybody's like, "Well, it was like a day. No, we weren't on vacation. we, you know, we decided to take the leader out of some country, and it's just yeah, the whole thing is interesting. The other big news that I'm not really aware of is more Epstein files. I'm like, yeah, but that's been happening for years. It just feels like this slow drip. So I don't know what is going on there, but I wonder if that is also it's another distraction. Either Iran is a distraction against that, or that is a distraction. Like, what is going on? And then we took out. I heard that we took out some big drug lord in Mexico.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, I seriously should have. I'm about to pull up like a
Dude, yeah, pull up ChatGPT or something. Like,
uh,
what are the big
you
news
know,
articles?
but like that isn't that crazy though? Like, things are happening so
So
fast.
fast. Yeah,
Right? Um, you can't even digest one without, something big. Even today, like you wake up today and you're kind of like, what's new? Right? Like,
yeah,
what's the new storyline? What's the new headline going up, going on somewhere else in the world? That's kind of like what's uh I think my frustration a little bit is a lot of this stuff is going on in places I've never been, right? Like
yeah. Sure.
I've never set foot on, the European continent or uh
We should change that, by the way. But yeah,
oh yeah, for sure. Not anytime soon, but uh um
tomorrow. Yeah.
not tomorrow. But like that's the that's the thing that's frustrating me a lot. A lot of these big news headlines are are things that are not happening in our country, in our neighborhoods, right?
Mm.
Like where we have our own issues and it seems to have taken kind of a back seat or it's been glazed over by this like um this very thin patina of, hey, the economy is doing good, and look what we're doing here. And it's like, yeah, but like, what are you doing over there? That stuff sounds like it costs a lot of money, and a lot of money that's going to come out of our pockets. You know what I mean? Like that's what's I mean, I work in the schools, man. We need more teachers. We need, like, more quality things going on in our neighborhoods, and
Yeah.
we're floundering, and and it seems like there's an unlimited supply of things going on,
Yeah.
that's being funded, that has nothing, uh consequence, like immediate consequences for us here in the United States. That, I think that's my frustration with what's going on, and the current events. And I know that you brought up, like, Mexico. Now that I can see that that has, um bigger implications for us here in the United States, because they're
Yeah.
right below us. I mean, fentanyl coming in, we've had families already impacted by that.
Yeah.
Some bad stuff coming across our borders now. uh like I said, and so taking out, um like, bad guys that are just below the border from us, I think would benefit the American people a lot more than
Yeah.
the things that are currently headline type news.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's just an interesting, and I don't love him or hate him. Like Trump plays a really mean game of 3D chess, right? I mean, he's constantly, hey, I'm going to go buy Greenland. Nah, I think we might just take it over. Oh no, I think we're going to go. Oh, we just invaded our Venezuela and we took out their leader. Oh, by the way, we're over here and we're doing this thing, and it's okay. What is distraction and what is noise? What is the thing that we should focus on? But I think you're right, man. I think it's that was part of me taking a break from the news as well. Was, yeah, most of the things that I hear about in the news is distraction. I'd say probably most of it is. To does it actually affect me in my life now, today, raising my kids? And the answer is no. Like most things don't actually affect me. And it's the same. So we talked about Iran. Does that actually affect me? Have I been to Iran? No. Do I have any real desire? Not right now. Maybe 100 years ago. That would have been a cool place to visit. But at the same time, how do we I think it's like having this awareness, but not having it like consume us. And unfortunately, there's so many people this is their life, right? Their life is sucked into the news and what's going on and things that they can't control. And it's not having a voice, I guess is a good way to say it. It's not
Yeah.
not saying something and saying this is a bad idea, because
Mhm.
I don't see how this is going to benefit us going to Iran. Um, Mostly because I don't see how it benefited us going to Afghanistan. It didn't really benefit us going to Iraq.
Right.
And that's our generation. That was we're right out of high school, college when a lot of our friends shipped off and went and did that thing. And then it's
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because it was 5 years ago in a couple months is when we pulled out of Afghanistan after we were there forever. And it was totally botched. It was probably, I mean, Vietnam was bad, but I think Afghanistan was worse, like in terms of how we pulled out of it. And in the same way, a lot of the guys that fought in Vietnam, and they talked about that, it was kind of this come home. It's like, okay, we all went over there and we died for nothing. Now, obviously, the casualties of Afghanistan are not anywhere close to what was going in Vietnam. Like Vietnam was a royal train wreck for years. But it's just an interesting, like, yeah, what is going on in seats of power, that why are we doing this? Which is funny too, because it's not like when I was in high school, I was very much more of a war hawk. And I think that was probably just how I grew up, and my grandpa and my dad being military, and I'm still. It's not like I'm anti-military, far from it, or anti-soldier, airman, or whatever, far from it. But at the same time, it's okay, what exactly are we doing, and what are we hoping to accomplish? Because It was probably I was probably 23 or 24 when I started studying the history of Afghanistan. I was like, wait a minute.
Mm.
We went over there and we gave the weapons to the Taliban? I'm like, wait a minute. We the United States had this great idea because they were being invaded by Russia. I'm like, oh well, God's on your side. Allah's on your side. Here's a bunch of AK-47s. Go fight them. And then they turn around and use those weapons against us decades later. And it's like I've already seen this movie several times, and I don't think it's going to go well. Like what all, I got that's the thing I haven't researched. I'll do a lot of homework today, I'm sure. What assets are in the area? What have we actually done? Have we actually do we have actual troops there, or are we just doing sending Tomahawk missiles from boats?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, um, there has been some casualties of war, like, um, you know, it's not like a, uh, like a big amount, but to be honest, any amount is any Americans that perish over there that are injured, it is even one is too much. You know what I mean? Like, especially like I said, when we're dealing with something that doesn't have an immediate impact on us here
Yeah,
in the United States. Like I don't know, man. It just kind of. I'm with you too. Like I was in college when America, the United States had um a huge shift in our perspective and our lives. It was when 9/11 hit, like the whole country has never like our country in particular has never seen something that impactful on US ground before that was done by a foreign entity, right?
yeah,
Like it was and it did. That's what I think that whole thing was. It's unfortunate, but I think that's what it was designed to do. That's what it was taken advantage. The moment was taken advantage of to galvanize, this um this patriotism inside of us that we're like, oh man, you mess with us, like, oh.
yeah,
and and as the years roll on, you know people start to question, well, what was this for, right? Like
hmm
as things continued on with that operation, like things start to get revealed that information was bad. And I remember were um when we were like inundated with all the news about that situation. And it was pointing towards a whole different country and a whole different like group of men who did terrible things. And we were going into a different and then we started talking about a different country,
yeah,
a different leader, and I was like, wait, hold on. Like it was almost um like the more they did things, the more like there was a revealing. Now I was a for a lack of a better word, I was a dumb college student. I i just went I was someone who was definitely could get caught up um in a psychological type of operation real quick,
sure,
because that when you're in college, you're kind of taught what to think instead of how to think.
yeah, yeah, for sure,
And they inundate you with um this like very specific type of perspective. um like I don't know if I shared this on a podcast before. What Like a couple of our assignments were communist manifestos,
yeah,
and you know what I mean. And we had to write and we had to argue for why this would be a good idea. And when I was doing those things, like I was doing it for the assignment so I can get a good grade, but also like as I was doing it and I was reading concepts, in my heart I was like, well, this doesn't sound like you make it sound good, but I know this stuff, and I know like just like the human being, that what we're capable of, what
Yeah.
we can do. Um, it's not gonna be possible.
Yeah.
So like again, like the seeds of starting to question as world events start to unfold in front of us. It was the questioning was there, but like it started to like grow even more as I mature, and as I get older, and as I start thinking for myself. The fog of whatever it is, man, like the propaganda, the news, the mainstream stuff, it starts to become uh it starts to become revealing of like what you need what we really should probably focus on, right?
Yeah.
And again, I go back to the hand that is shaking the ant farm. There's there's something going on there. And I'm a yeah, and I'm a big believer too. And again, this goes back to just maturing in life, and then the good Lord saving me and finding me and rescuing me from you know um despairs like that. It's yeah, it certainly just leads me to believe that this whole thing is a very spiritual like battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, man. I'm doing a lot of talking about this stuff, dude. Like, you tell me. You tell me how. Like, I know that you're just getting into some of the news, but I know how well versed you are in. And again, my dad was in the military. I love the military.
Yeah.
Thank God for the military. Um, and sometimes I feel like the military, the men and women who serve in our military, man, I feel for them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't want them to be in. I know that they're going to be the first line of defense, but I don't want them in harm's way if um if I don't if I don't know what the clear objective of what we're doing is. And like, is it a priority for us as the United States? You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yeah.
where my thoughts are. Those are lies, man. I had one of my really good buddies was over there, man. Special forces, um get shot in Afghanistan, and it hits home like that when you have
Yeah.
really good friends. And man, like we lifted weights together, we played football together, and then all of a sudden to know that like he could have perished on a foreign soil, and then like as you were saying, as the conflict stretches on, and then we have that embarrassing like transition out of there. Like, you know what I mean? Now I think
Hmm.
about like, bro, like, dude, you could have died over there for what? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so anyways, I'm getting a little emotional about this, but uh
I think
yeah,
honestly,
it
as
hits home.
like
It's
as
different.
you should, yeah, because in the same way, I agree because it was a different feeling after 9/11, and I didn't go to the military, but a lot of friends that did, and I don't know anybody personally that died over there, but I have like three of my cousins were all deployed over there, four of them, and they all had friends that died in battle with them, and
Mm,
so it hits really close to home to them, right? And then even when I and it's almost a hard thing when I think I brought that up right after the Afghanistan withdrawal, and I just checked in with those guys, and I was like, "How you guys doing?" I said, "How?" Because what was the point? Like, why are we here? What are we doing? And for them, and I've heard people talk about this that we're in the military, and they talk about, yeah, we don't do it for the geopolitics and the like. Doesn't matter. Like we're there in the foxhole with the guy next to us, so that's why we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Like we've got orders, we're gonna get things done, and so it kind of like takes a different life of its own, if that makes sense. And so many of them are like, man, that was some of the best, absolute best times of my life, where there's no distraction. Like it's it's us, our unit, and we're over here doing our thing. And if we're gonna get shot at, we're gonna shoot back. And you're right. I mean, they just and so, um, And at the same time, there needs to be people that are kind of pumping the brakes. Because you're right, like there was such a fervor and a desire to fight back 25 years ago. Hard to believe, but when we got attacked. But now it's like, okay, but same with Maduro. I mean, there's a lot of people questioning that. Okay, we're shooting boats out of the water in the Caribbean. That seems sus to me. Like that, like, okay, I've been there. I have been in
Yeah.
the Caribbean. It's beautiful.
Right.
Are there some bad people there? Oh yeah, for sure. Do they have boats that are big enough to actually get to the coast of the United States? That I really doubt. I mean, that's a long trip because I've sailed through
It's a
those
long trip.
islands. That's a long trip. You got to have a
It's a
lot
long
of
trip.
fuel. Anyway, so there's something that just doesn't feel right. I agree with you in Mexico. Mexico's a mess. It's always been a mess. Like I haven't I've been to Mexico for a long time. Used to go all the time, and it was a mess then. And so it's a way bigger mess now. So what we do about that mess, I don't really know. Probably make sure that we have a secure border, number one. But obviously that's fairly inflammatory. Um, yeah, it's goofy. I just pulled up I just went to ChatGPT and said, "Hey, I've been off the news since February 1st. So give me give me some top stories." So I was like, "All right, this will be fun. I'll just read through it, and because we've got like 10 more minutes, because this is gonna be a fast podcast, unfortunately." All right,
Yeah.
the geopolitics: U.S. and Israel carry out strikes on targets in Iran, including in Tehran. Okay, Iranian-linked attacks in the Gulf affecting shipping and oil markets near Kuwait. Because I have a friend actually lives in Dubai, and he sent a message. Was basically saying, "Yeah, we're good," and so kind of the same thing. Like I got that email. I was like, something's going on. Like, did we get hit over there? Sounds like in Qatar or something. Anyway,
Mm.
U.S. and Iran have held indirect talks in Geneva about Iran's nuclear program following the sanctions and deployment. Pentagon Gulf are exploring Ukrainian interceptor drones as cheaper defense. Israeli strikes reported in Lebanon. Uh, so it doesn't give me a whole lot what's going on.
Mm.
But all right, I can't tell. Like, what are we doing in Iran? Okay, U.S. politics. A State of the Union address. Okay, the Supreme Court struck down certain tariffs. Oh, that would explain why the stock market's been crazy. Okay. Um, House Representatives discussed limiting presidential war powers. Oh, it looks like we got 10-minute warning. Okay. House Re-
Let me ask you about that. Like, what?
sure.
Like, you talked about you talked about the tariffs.
Mhm.
Like, I guess my understanding of it is that it's uh, is that he's trying to level the playing field
Yeah.
when it comes to that. Um, has it worked? Because like the people that are feeling it is you, me, like
hmm
we feel it. Do I want a level playing field? Absolutely, I do. Like how do we go about doing it? Is it going to be something that it's going to suck for a while till it gets better,
Yeah.
or what? What's your thoughts on that?
Mm,
Because that affects
yeah.
us.
Yeah. I'd say this is just my thoughts. I think they're working,
Mhm.
but it's going to take a while for them to really work because
We've been living on the hog for a bit.
oh yeah. And COVID obviously like really highlighted that where we are really dependent on other countries for a lot of things. So manufacturing, like I had just had to buy a brand new fridge and a brand new dishwasher that were both manufactured in 2021. You don't want to buy like hot tip, don't buy anything that was manufactured in 2021. Like it literally the fridge repair guy, the GE company, like everybody, it's like, oh yeah, well it should be this part, it should be this compressor. And then they look at it, they're like, that's not the compressor that should be on this fridge. Like, I know, but you just have whatever you have, right? And you just throw parts together. So anyway, but we're really vulnerable there. Like we are such a consumer economy, and we've gotten so used to cheap crap that comes. I mean, like Temu is a great example, right? We've got cheap crap that can come over from another country, and so we're such a consumer economy that we don't know what it's going to be like to have our own. Now, there was a couple of years ago, I was at a conference, and there was I don't know, probably 100 of us or so in the room, and a guy that was there, he spoke. Peter Zahn. It's got a funny name. Anyway, he wrote this book called "The End of the World Is Only the Beginning," and it's massive. It's like this huge book on economics and geopolitics, and it was a fascinating conversation. And his one of his main premises was, and the book is really fascinating too. But when it talks about like geopolitics and economics and how it's all going to come together, the United States is uniquely, singularly the best place in the world, not because of our military might, but geographically. Like we don't need anybody else. So if we talk about oil, no, we have more oil in the United States that we can access than almost anywhere in the world. Yeah, there's other regions that have more oil, like Venezuela's got oil, and obviously the Middle East and things like that. We're just not tapping that resource. Or
Right.
if you look at farmland, like one of the big reasons, like Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. It's some of the most rich, fertile farmland. Okay, well, they've been at war. So how's that been affecting everything else over there? It's been affecting them a
Right.
lot, right?
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
The United States, we don't need that. We don't need anybody. Like we can literally grow enough food, have enough cattle to take care of ourselves and a large portion of the world because of what we do, what we have. We've got the ability to manufacture. Like we've got so much, and then yes, we've got the we've got this ability to uh, keep people out because of our military. Like we rule the world in terms of. I mean, you even look at
Yeah.
again, book's fascinating, but he talks about even the warships that China has are like they can't go that far. Like it'd be great. Like if China says, "Yeah, we want to come attack the United States," they're like, "Okay, we'll cut you off in Hawaii. Like you're going to run out of gas. You know, like you don't have the ability to get here." And so the United States is uniquely positioned geographically. We've got the two oceans on either side. Like people can't get to us.
Yeah.
Um, so I think the tariffs is part of that, where it's because we've been such a consumer economy that yeah, people are like, great, if you want cheap crap here, we're just going to throw some tariffs on this. And so Trump's like, well, yeah, we don't want that, we don't want that. No, what does that mean? That means that we haven't really manufactured stuff since the 80s and 90s. And so now for us to like spin up manufacturing and do all this stuff, we don't have that um ability. And so that change is going to take a long time. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my feeling.
Yeah.
The him Trump being kind of willy nilly and just like slapping tariffs on and off different countries. Yeah, I could see how the Supreme Court struck down like certain tariffs. I'm curious to see which ones that they did because right goes back to the Constitution again
Yeah.
that the House controls the purse, right? Like that's the job of the House of Representatives. And so if they
Mhm.
don't have the say of imposing taxes and duties and levies and whatever, then that could be problematic, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
because a nefarious president, could just come in and really screw things up. So I don't think the
For sure.
economy's been screwed up
Mhm.
that bad as a result of it. I just it seems like an easy tool, and then that Trump just likes to use. So
Yeah.
do I think he
Yeah.
should have the ability to try to keep other countries in check if we are getting screwed?
For sure.
Probably, but
Yeah.
what is the limit of that?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, man. We've certainly been um things have been unbalanced for a long time. And like you said, man, I mean, you can just look at Detroit and know
Yeah,
like how far and how long how like a slow decline in our ability to build, you know, automobiles here. I mean,
hmm
that like you can look no further than something like that to show you how far we've kind of slipped,
yeah,
right? Our own cities, right? Our own American people, where that was the main, like you go get a car from Detroit because it's, you know, it's built well, right? You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, dude, I saw a commercial the other day, a Kia, which I'm pretty sure is a Korean car company. A Kia was like driving like it was a rugged vehicle and like herding horses, and I was like, "A fuck Kia? What are you doing here? Stay in your lane, dude." Like, that's not what I think of when I think of a rugged. Oh, let's go round up some cows, and I don't think of a Kia. But they're trying to, like,
That's so funny. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's and that part too, like the media and everything has helped in this like um in this like this decline where we're so dependent, right? You're right,
Yeah.
dude. Again, I go back to the longer when an event happens, the longer it goes, the more it starts revealing itself. Nothing
Yeah.
will be hidden, right? It starts to reveal the cracks in our armor here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
And
sure.
and hope and I'm praying for our leaders, man. The word says to pray for our leaders, to pray for our government, that they do the right thing. I'm just you know, weary of like, not weary is not the right word, just cautious about like what their influence it what who's influencing our leaders. You know,
Mhm.
what kind of people is our leaders, right? Wise counsel is you have to have
Yeah.
wise counsel and who you surround yourself with. Um and I'm not like well versed in that, but I know that this president ran on no wars, like
Mhm.
making America great. And for a while he was, yeah, okay, I like it. I like what we're doing. We're closing the border. We're doing the things here in our homeland. But then like
Now what?
these
Yeah.
recent events, and I don't even know, like we don't even know what it's for, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, and there's a whole religion component to this whole thing too. Again, going back to a spiritual, there's something spiritual going on. So just a lot of conflict that is expanding that we didn't we didn't
We
ask for.
we didn't sign up for it, for sure.
We didn't sign for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're right. I think that's one thing that I tell people. It feels like I tell people a lot is don't just read the news headlines. There's always something going on. Like dig deep. That was the same with COVID. Like when COVID first happened and everybody's panicking, and I just went to the CDC and just started crunching numbers and data. I was like, yeah, something happened, but this isn't that big of a deal. And this was early 2020. This is like March, April of 2020. And just, like actually do some your own homework.